Okay, so as promised, I said I'd come home and I'd try and mess with this needle a bit. So I have moved the red bike outside, and it's pretty fucking cold here at the minute. But we're going to try this anyway, because it'll annoy me the rest of the night if I don't try it. Right, so for those of you who never work on motorbikes or are new to it and don't know what's inside a carburetor, I'm going to show you. But most of the other guys who works with them will know. This is your carburetor. You'll see that I have a pump, an accelerator pump on this. Not every carb has this, but they all work in the same kind of a way. You've got this tube here, and inside that tube, if I can just move over here a bit, you have this slide. In the middle of that slide is this clip, or needle as I talk about. Excuse the racket, the neighbours are cutting sticks next door. But so there's different settings on this needle. I don't know if you can see that, but there's little notches and there's a little clip. You can move the clip, and depending on where you move it to, it will richen the mix or it will make it lean. So that's what I'm going to try and do this evening. And that spring is for keeping in the slide when it's in the needle, sorry, when it's in the middle of the slide. Then you have this spring, and this is the top of your throttle cable. So this spring goes on top, in through that, just like so. Then the cable comes out the other side, and it goes in from the inside to the outside through this little hole. You bring it down. Then if you look underneath this, there's a little space for it there, and the spring pulls it tight in there. So that's basically how it works. So we're going to move this. I mean, because I'm getting so much fuel and I just can't even nearly get the thing started, I'm going to move it to the closest possible place to the top that I can get it, which means that the needle drops down further and closes off it from getting more fuel. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll be back with you in just one wee second. Okay, so you'll see that I've moved that to the very top position, and we'll see if the bike will behave differently now when I put it back in. Okay, so this is the way that the assembly goes together. The spring goes over the cable into the cap. You can see the cable's in the middle of the spring. Then the cable comes out this hole. You bring it down there, and then it pulls back into the hole on the bottom. So we're going to put this back into the carb now, and the side that your idle adjust is on, screw, is where this big slot goes. So it can be fidgety to put it in there, but you'll manage it. Let's give it a go. Okay, so let's give this a shot and see if we get anything, or see what it does. Probably nothing. Oh dear, my lights just fell. I'm leaving these in the dark. 1 second. Yeah, that's a bit better. I mean, you don't have perfect light, but it'll do. Right. Hopefully we'll get something. I have to hold on the choke because the choke has this spring on it. I have to take the carburetor off to fix that. It's meant for a cable, you see, and this bike never had a cable. That's promising. Took the choke off, so totally stopped. But I'm happy. I mean, it ran a lot better. Ran a lot better than it did before. Gives me hope. Let's try it again. With the choke on, it is running. Farting a bit though. I'm going to let the choke off now and we'll see what it does. As soon as I take the choke off, it stops. Wow, the smoking here is crazy. I'm a lot happier that it runs. So it was stopping when I was putting the choke off, so I'm going to try and adjust this needle again and put it on the next level and see if that fixes our issue. But definitely looks like we could be on to something here, although it may be the idle jet either. Let's hope we figured it out with a bit of luck. With a bit of luck we'll get this. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, you should be able to see enough there. Let's do this. No choke this time. I'm not going to put the choke on. Well, it went, but it didn't stay running, which is not a good sign because that's what it was doing before. I'll quit choke on. Oh no, I flooded it. I know rightly. In which case I better go and dry the plug out. No choke. No, she's still, I don't know why it's doing that. Spluttering and then stopping. And I'm going to take out the plug now and I'm going to show you what it's doing to the plugs. Can you see that? Very hard to get this camera to focus in such artificial lighting. It is wet. It's not very black though. This time. Not very black, but wet. We'll put it back in, see if we can get again. It might run better on the first setting. Definitely not going to run on the third, so maybe there's a problem with the jetting size or something. I don't know, I'm not an expert on this. But some of you guys, either on the CB page or YouTube here, will know and be able to give me some sort of advice. Okay. That was absolutely no choke on at all, and literally ran for a second and just stopped. So I'm going to put the choke on now and hold it on here, and I'll try it again. And that's holding the choke on. Seems perfectly happy to idle, but if I try and give it any problem, it will fall and it will flood the bike. I didn't touch anything there and it flooded itself, so I'm literally going to take the plug out now to show you that it did actually flood itself. Yeah, the plug's wet. You can see how wet the plug is there. So your guess is as good as mine, but I'm going to go in and get me dinner, and I'll probably put it on the first setting again, see if we can get any better reaction out of it, because it did seem to be better when I had it on the first one. Okay, things have done. I put the setting back on number 1 on the needle. I adjusted the air screw on the carburetor to a factory setting, 2.5 turns out. I found a bit of a screw to kind of trying to hold the choke on. It's not holding it fully on, but it's holding it kind of half on, so let's see what happens. Now I have 2 screwdrivers here. I'm gonna muck around and see what I can get. I did want to check the fuel if it was on or off, but unfortunately this is rusted up that bad that I can't really figure that out. Anyway, let's try and start it, see what it does. Okay, I'm not getting anything now. Put it all off, but obviously not. Just not going to do anything now that I've had it on that setting. Choke fully on. Okay. Got something. Still fully on. I'm going to try and mess around with the wire in a bit here to see if it's anything to do with that. Jiggle a few bits around here, see if it stops. That hasn't helped there now. Have an issue with the wiring. Yeah, we may have an issue with the wiring, because I was jiggling this around here and then all of a sudden it revved up and I jiggled it around a bit more and then it stopped. So it is possible that this wire here is giving us a bit of an issue, and if that was the case we'd have it all kind of figured out, but who knows if we're right or wrong. I mean, there has been a bit of a botch connection done here. Somebody's done. Maybe I'll try and redo that. See what we get. Probably better way to do things. Yeah, let's see what it does again. See what it's starting now. If it won't start, it may well be because of that wire. I mean, where's my choke? Choke's kind of still half on. It's very hard to get my foot up here when I'm my hand on the choke. And now it just wants to do nothing. Okay, well, I'll check the plug again. I'll dry it and let's see what it does. That's why I think that's why it stopped. Either that or it stopped firing. It didn't burn the fuel that entered the chamber there. so the plug got wet. I'm hoping that's what the case is and I can rewire it and that'll be alright then. Right, let's give it a shot now. Choke on. And nothing. And that's the choke on. So we may be onto something with this wiring. I'm going to mess around with this wiring a bit and see if she starts up then. This is where the issue is coming from. Yeah. Maybe I'll cut that connection off and I'll strip these and put them together just to see what they do. Okay, tried to fix the old wiring up a bit. It's been colloped and cut just all over the place, this bike. And I knew that when I bought the bike, so I'm not going to use this loom. I do have a new loom for the bike. But I'm hoping that we found our issue here and that it was just this bit of wiring. Guess we'll find out. I've dried out the plug. Everything that's important is plugged in. Don't ask me about the other stuff. But the coil is plugged in anyway, and let's see how we get on. I'm going to try it without the choke first. Okay, yeah, I have a tooth missing on my kickstart. Right, so it's not going to run without the choke at least. Have to find it now. Right, choke on. Absolutely nothing. That is so weird. I'm going to check if I've got spark. It's weird because it was starting first kick earlier. Oh yeah, I've got spark. So that's not the issue. I got loads of spark. Yeah, my head's slowly getting very annoyed with this bike. My head's annoyed with this bike a long time ago. And the spark plug is a little wet, so it did get some fuel, and it is sparking. Well guys, as you can see from my videos of the cb125, I didn't have much luck. Unfortunately, before I could finish the video, the battery for the camera died. I did get it to run after that, and it ticked over just lovely. And when you went to give it any throttle at all, it just died. Straight away, died. I fettled about with it for probably about another hour, and it got worse and worse until the point where it just wouldn't start at all. Usual thing that it was doing. So I've decided that I'm going to give up on the cb125. I've had it that long now. I've tried so many things. You've seen all the work that I've put in to try and get this bike to run, and just no, it's just not going to do it for me. You'll be pleased to know that I haven't given up on the restoration of the bike though. So I have a friend who works on bikes and is a bit more experienced than me. And although I hate to admit defeat, I am going to get him to look at it. I will be leaving it over to him this week. This week, maybe next week. He's agreed. He says I'll be there any evening. Leave it over to me. He studied mechanics at college and everything else. He knows what he's doing with these bikes. If anybody can get this bike running, I'm hoping that it will be him, and we can just get on with the rest of the restoration. I never thought on day one when I bought this bike that it would ever end up being so long to get it running. But I will promise you that if he does get it running, I'll find out what the problem was and I'll explain it to the best of my ability, so that if you ever come across this again in another bike or something, you'll know what the problem was. In saying that, you probably won't see it for a while, just until he gets it running, I get it back. And when I get it back, I'm going to strip the whole thing down and start the restoration process. And probably stripping the frame and painting it will be the first thing that I'll do. I do have to source some new wheel rims and spokes, but I'll get them. Rebuilding the forks is going to be an issue, something I'm going to have to look at. About air suspensions, I know nothing about them. If it was just a simple normal set of hydraulic forks, I could probably rebuild them a lot easier than air suspension, obviously. I'd be too afraid of doing damage to these because they're the only set that I could find, and I've searched around for a hell of a long time to find them. So there's a good chance I might actually end up sending them away also to be done professionally, as I don't want to end up damaging them. This bike's maybe not that desirable, but it's definitely rare, and in future it could be desirable bike. So the only thing about 125 bikes is they don't tend to be that sought after because they're small. But for people who maybe had one of them as their first bike or something years ago, um, they're desirable that way. Sentimental value basically. And to see one in a perfect condition, restored, one of these is actually very rare, extremely rare to see that. So I'm going to do my best with it, and I'm going to do what's best for the bike. And I might learn a little bit out of it, but unfortunately not by doing it myself, a lot of the work. So anyway, that's what's happening with it, and I'll give you an update whenever I'm sending it away. I might take a wee video just of us putting it on the trailer and leaving it over. And that's it. Give you an update whenever I know more. Thanks for watching. By the way, just to add to the video, I want to give a big thank you to Paul Noakes. Paul Noakes has been very good to me, giving me parts for this bike and whatever bits he had, and giving me measurements and photographs of things that I needed. And he went above and beyond what he had to do to show me some of the parts of the bike and draw them up, plans on how to make a piece or two. And I want to extend a great thanks to him on the channel here. You've been a great help, Paul. Thank you very much.